Hello, Insta family. It is Dr. Tamara Hunter here, and it is lovely once again to see you on a Wednesday night for our Instagram Live. I have a very special guest for you guys tonight. As part of my 50 days of Tamara, celebrating all things women, women's health, reproductive medicine, fertility, women's empowerment, whatever you want to call it, my rundown to my 50th birthday, and my run back to me, I have the pleasure of having another breast cancer warrior on here tonight with us. And we're going to see, as older women, how we navigate the Insta space. So I can see that Kate is on. So let me see if I can do this, Kate. I'm going to add you. Go live. Let's jump on. I'll tell you a little bit about my journey if you have only come in halfway through. So to those who don't know, I was diagnosed with invasive ductal carcinoma of the breast in 2023. Hello!
We did it!
We did it. See? I knew we could do it.
Has
nothing to do with being too old.
Excellent. Good news, really.
So I was just telling everybody, just reminding everybody who has jumped on, some may or may not know that I had breast cancer in 2023. After literally a chance finding, I had a patient who was another doctor colleague come along, having just been diagnosed with breast cancer for fertility preservation. And I thought, gee, I really need to go and get that mammogram that I've been putting off for a couple of years because of COVID, busy mum stuff. And lo and behold, I had an invasive ductal carcinoma. So then I went through chemotherapy, wide local excision or lumpectomy, and sentinel nodes taken out. And then I had 19 sessions of radiation. And here we are, almost a year on. On March the 7th will be my 1-year anniversary since my diagnosis, Kate. So I don't know quite how I'm going to celebrate that day. I do know that I'm going to be on a plane to Spain.
Which is quite a celebration, really.
I'll have to have some of their non-alcoholic champagne.
Yes, I've got a glass of my non-alcoholic wine here with me, just in case I feel like I need a safety net talking to these people.
So we've got a few people on, and I'm sure they're really curious to find out a little bit more about you, Kate. So just by way of introduction, can you just tell everybody a little bit about your background and who you are?
For sure. I'm just, on a personal note, I'm a mother and a grandmother. So, you know, I've got enormous blessings in my life. And then I also made the decision, it's probably 15 years ago now. I was working on the terrace in a corporate role in operations and customer service job. And I was persuaded to go and speak to a cardiology group about taking that skill set and applying it to a healthcare setting, to a group that wanted to grow and wanted to improve its patient service and wanted to look at, is there a fresher way to look at the way that they did things? And I completely fell in love with an industry that I, you know, didn't really understand well enough. And it's been kind to me. I moved from there into fertility, then to women's health, now to fertility, and I have found my magic space. The opportunity to work with inspiring women, to help and support other women, to be part of a story that is about better care and better education and better information is my get out of bed reason that is not associated with my, you know, with my home and my family. So I'm lucky. So
yeah,
that's who I am in terms of the Monash space and working with you.
So Kate is actually our regional manager in WA and is helping us to really bring MonashIVF to West Australians, and I'm very blessed to have her as part of our team. But Kate, tell us all about your most recent journey, which has actually brought you and I into a greater kinship than we probably had before.
Of all the things to have in common, Tamara interviewed me. So I already knew coming into Monash that we were really aligned. We shared some, you know, some really common visions and goals. Little did I know, I went for a mammogram on the 12th of December, which was routine. It had been scheduled. There was nothing saying that I should have gone and had it done other than it was, it was programmed in. And the sonographer's face, as she said to me, when was your last mammogram, and pulled out this extra piece of equipment, was my first indication that perhaps this wasn't going to go as the way that things did normally. And by the time I left the practice that day, so I'd gone to a private radiology practice, so I'm pretty fortunate. I didn't really have to wait. I had an appointment for a biopsy, and 4 days later, I had a diagnosis that I had breast cancer. I'm going to say, Tamara, thank you. By the time I had a diagnosis, I already had an appointment for my first consult with regards to this, and I've been looked after. I've got a beautiful oncoplastic surgeon. I have a really amazing oncologist. My breast cancer care nurse is a spectacular human, and I'm currently in chemotherapy. I'm just over halfway, 12 weeks weekly, so it's a bit light, but it's pretty intense. And I can't speak highly enough of the team that take care of me during that appointment. My hair might be frizzy, but it's hanging in there. I do a thing called cold capping.
Doing better than mine did.
No, she hasn't quite forgiven me for that one. And yeah, so that's where I'm at. It's 19th of December. I received my diagnosis, and it's both a lifetime and a heartbeat. Since then, it's gone fast and slow. There's been lots of feelings. My family have been extraordinary, and my work colleagues have been, I don't even have the words to describe how beautiful and supportive they have been. So I'm in a good place to be undertaking this journey, navigated by my good friend and colleague, Dr. T.
So, Kate, just tell everybody what's the plan moving forward, just in a nutshell. What's the journey coming?
Yes, sorry, I've got another 5 weeks of chemo. I've been told it won't be extended. So, they check me every week. I have a blood test every week. And that makes a decision about if they can give me this drug or not that drug. But the plan is that I'll have chemo for another 5 weeks, and then that'll be done. I have a month off. I have the same surgery that Tamara has had, so a lumpectomy. And then my expectation is I'll have about a month off and start radiation therapy.
Yeah.
So that'll take me through. I'll still be having treatment. I've got an HR2 positive tumour, and that means that I need to have a medication called Herceptin, and I'll be on that for 12 months.
Yes, I am coming up to my final Herceptin in about 2 weeks' time. So yes, I know that. I'll be celebrating. Even though we don't have a bell in the Ivy Suite, I'm going to ring the proverbial bell when it's finally done. Yeah, so you're right, Kate. What I thought was going to be a quick 6-month journey actually ends up being quite a protracted 12-month journey. So you're right in the thick of chemo, and I've got to say that you are doing magnificently well. Certainly, I think better than I actually did as far as tolerating the side effects. But I think what that shows all of us is that every single person's journey is very different. Even though Kate and I had like twin cancers, both Herceptin positive, both estrogen positive, both in ductal carcinoma, our course of treatment has actually been really different. And I suppose to those of you in the fertility space who might be on here listening to this, the one lesson to take away is your journey will not be the same as your best mates. And so I have a lot of patients, Kate, that come into my rooms and say, yeah, but my friend had this, or my sister had this. And it's very hard for me to try and explain that every single patient journey is completely different. And our job is to individualize and personalize treatment as much as possible. So you're probably not going to have what your best friend or your sister had. And that's something that both you and I have come to realize, is that our treatment journey, despite having the same specialists looking after us, our treatment journey is completely different.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I've noticed if I look, so I'm a member of a couple of Facebook groups, because sometimes you want to read something or have a bit of a moan, and it's good to have a community that's not your family or your friends, because you're trying to, you know, keep them a little bit happy. But when I look at those, the thing that I really see is people, what they're asking for is advice from other people. They want to do their research, or they want to see what somebody else had done, because they're looking for that silver bullet that means that maybe they don't feel the way that they do about what's going on. And all I see when I look at that is you have got a team of specialists whose job is to make you well. Dr. Google, Facebook communities, there's certainly support and some information in there, but they're not the people who, you know, have got your personal best interests and indeed your clinical results in front of them, looking at what it is that they can do to help you.
Yeah.
I mean, and these are people who've trained for decades to have the skills to be able to do a great job of it.
Yeah.
So I know where my trust is. I know where my sources are, and it's the people who are looking at what's going on for me. But yeah, I was surprised.
Yeah.
I thought, knowing nothing, I thought, given that we've got the same medical specialist, we've got effectively twin cancers, and it's so different for us.
Completely different. Yeah, completely different. And also completely different side effects, right? So you have sailed through this, and I was a complete mess. I had every antiemetic drug known to man, but it still didn't work. So yeah, everyone's journey is really different, and certainly that's something that I've been really mindful of in supporting Kate along this. And again, here's some parallels to the fertility journey. You know, if you are someone who's been through the process and you're supporting someone else who's going through it, it's always really important to do a lot of this and a lot of this, because undoubtedly your journey is going to be very different, and you're just really there to be that support person to say, I know how you're feeling, I know what you're going through. Yeah.
I think the nice thing about having someone who's been through it, though, is if you're sitting there and you're going, oh, this is just not fair, or it's annoying, or what the heck, at least the person that you're speaking to goes, yeah, it's not. Yeah, it sucks, and it isn't fair. But you can, you will, you must.
Yes. Yes, this too shall pass.
Yeah, it's a now. It's not an always.
Exactly. So, Kate, tell us how you're halfway through chemo. How is it affecting you now? Apart from the fact that you really seem like you're not affected.
Well, my family accused me of having more front than Maya, so that might come into it. No. I got halfway through. Look, I stopped telling people how I was feeling, because I started feeling guilty that I was feeling well. But I have noticed halfway through that fatigue is really starting to be impactful. And fortunately, through the support that I receive from Tamara and from my colleagues, I'm really empowered to take care of myself first. And my family have been great. So I have treatment on a Tuesday. I know on a Wednesday afternoon, after about 3 o'clock, I'll start to flag. Yeah. Thursday's a good day. Friday, about 3 o'clock, I'll start to flag. And Saturday and Sunday, I now do nothing. I hang at home. If people want to catch up with me, they can come and have a cuppa on a Sunday, but they have to be prepared to make their own coffee, because I'm going to loll around on the couch like Lady Muck. And Monday, I tend to be recovered and back to full strength. But the biggest thing now that has changed is I put that management of fatigue first, because I would rather be able to play at, okay, I won't say play at 100%, let's call it 90% for 80% of the time, than try and smash and push myself to keep at the level I was before and negatively impact my health and recovery. I've got one job to do, and that's to get well, and I'm going to put everything I can into it. That has not been... Self-care has not been my priority or my great skill set, so I'm having to learn that.
Yeah.
So that's probably the biggest impact, is that I just sometimes have to say, no, it's okay.
Yeah, that's good. And that's, you know, a really great lesson for all of us, you know, high-functioning women, is to learn that in order to get through this, you actually have to give yourself a little bit of a break.
Yep.
You cut
We're not
yourself
really
some slack.
constrained to do that.
No.
You know, the good girl stuff means you try and make everything nice for everyone else and don't upset
Yeah.
anyone and don't impact anyone.
Yeah.
Even on days when you're feeling rotten, you know, you're still wanting to care for the people around you and the things that you do.
Yeah.
So the word selfish is so negative, but you think about it, selfish just means being about yourself. And if you're as strong as you can be, or you're being as supported as you can be, you're going to do a better job of those other things anyway.
Yeah, I had another gynecological colleague of mine have breast cancer. She didn't score chemo, but she scored big surgery and big radiation. And she said, Tamara, you know, this is the most important time for you to just take time for yourself. There is never going to be another more important time in your life to do that. So I did listen to her. I did work a bit, but I did listen to her and I did take some time when I needed it. And I, you know, encourage anybody. Again, the parallel with that fertility journey is, you know, this is a time when there's a lot of treatment burden. So you've got to take those moments for yourself when you can. Yeah.
In
an
environment of high emotion, right?
Huge. You know, the mental health aspect, I think, of the cancer journey and again of the IVF journey is not really appreciated, I think, until you're almost at the other end and you look back and you go, oh my God, my anxiety levels were through the roof. My stress levels were through. I was only sleeping 2 hours a night because I was up with panic attacks, trying to deal with the uncertainty of what was going to happen to me. But you never realize that until you look back in retrospect.
Oh, this notion of having no control is insane. You know, I don't know the last time I felt this vulnerable to a circumstance that I could not impact, could not change. Like I describe myself as a hostage rather than a passenger because it's, you know, you can be as positive as you like. It's not a duty you choose, right?
Yeah.
But once you're there, you just got to do it. So it's finding a place of trust and parking your grief and parking your anger and your unfair so that you can do what you can get on with and then later potentially finding space to unpack that. It's interesting.
Yeah. And so, Kate, what do you think? Again, you know, you work with Monash IVF as our regional manager, and you always say to us, I'm not a clinician, I don't have a clinical background.
Yeah.
But I know you and I have bounced off each other some of the similarities between the cancer journey and the IVF journey. Yeah. What to you has been an aha moment in that space?
Oh, my goodness, mate. I thought... And I have a career in customer and patient service, which is founded in customer and patient centricity. I would have said to you that, you know, I'm really confident and I understand a lot of that space. Man, being in the first chair is a lot different from talking. So the things that I say to our team absolutely are true, but one, the importance of being able to build rapport and trust and being able to ask questions without fear of feeling silly and feeling that you're respected, that your experience is recognised and that people listen and take that on board and include that perspective in your care. That's your individual care component. And the other thing that I've found is I might not understand how anxious I feel, but the smallest inconsistency makes my head explode. Yes. And it's like everything else, 98% is consistent and clear and I have trust and everything is great. And a small thing like, I don't know, a small piece of inconsistent information tends to make me spiral a little bit and go, well, now am I worried? Do I have trust? And so for me, what do? I contextualize and go, come on, let's put it into perspective, because I haven't had anything that's been so big that I haven't been able to do that. But it's made me so aware of the importance of consistency, of making sure that every single person that speaks to a patient in our practice says the right thing, not the same thing, the right thing for that patient, because they understand that patient and their journey and their fears and their concerns, and we're respecting and making allowance for that. Yeah. I will never Not that I think that I did a bad job before, just saying, but I will never not know what I know now.
Yeah. Yeah, it certainly is a very eye-opening experience. For me, the big thing was that communication piece. So I remember the very first day I was in the Ivy suite, and the nurses were amazing. I can't take anything away from their skill set. But I recognised that one of the things that they needed to do was ensure that they were ticking off their checklist, that they had informed me of every possible complication that I was going to experience with each of the 4 different chemotherapy drugs that I was about to take. Now, I'm a medical practitioner. My husband was with me, and both of us were just in complete overwhelm after about 10 minutes of just this peppered information that was just coming our way.
Yep.
It was just completely overwhelming, and it got me thinking about the fact that people learn and are educated about things in different ways. Some people get that didactic lecturing. Some people need to read things. Some people need audio visual. Some people need the opportunity to go back and rehash over the same information again and again and again. And it really got me thinking about the importance of having those education resources for patients given to them in a number of different ways, or it's certainly accessible to them in a number of different ways, so that they can find the way that they're going to learn about how their IVF journey is going to play out. Because without that, I think people really struggle in the health space if they don't know what they don't know, and that just, as you said, heightens their anxiety, heightens their mistrust, and heightens their traumatic experience. And, you know, we know of many women who have commented about how they have found their IVF journey quite traumatic. So it's up to us, I think, to really learn about what we've experienced and translate that to the IVF space. What do you think about the compassion piece, Kate?
Oh, kindness is such an underrated quality in a human being. And I think if we can make sure, so when you look at a team, oftentimes in the pursuit of excellence, and I would say our team is committed to doing an amazing job, right? But then they sit there and they've been taught that this is the way that we take care of people. And sometimes it's easy to get a little bit caught up in the pathway rather than leading from the heart, if you like, leading with empathy and kindness and going, who's the person in front of me and how can I take what I need to provide in a way that's going to best support them today in this moment. And that might be different, because what I see in Ivy Suite is they all do it to a degree. There's one particular nurse there who does it in spectacular fashion, that their body language, their tone, their face, and it's not fake, it is genuine, changes as they speak to each person who's in there. And we've all got different cancers, we're all on different treatments. How this person navigates such a personal, individual experience for every person that I see them delivering it to is inspiring, to say the very least. And I'm certain that it all comes from that place of compassion and caring.
Can I just call out, that's VJ, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Shout out to VJ. Yeah, an exceptional human being that I think every healthcare professional, not just nurses, every healthcare professional could really learn something from VJ on that compassion piece. Totally agree with you. Yeah.
I've seen one person who was an Aboriginal healthcare worker up in Fitzroy Crossing do something similar at a spectacular level. It's rare, but I think it's learnable or coachable or teachable, and our ability to share that understanding and learning with our team and help us all grow through this together. I mean, goodness me, there better be some kind of silver lining from the end of it. We should all be able to benefit, right?
Yeah,
and if that
absolutely.
help the people who come to us for help, for us to be able to deliver that level of care, gosh, how's that for an opportunity?
Yeah, huge. So, Kate, I'm going to wrap it up. We've had some amazing comments come through here. Lots of gratitude for sharing our stories from medical practitioners and no doubt consumers. So, thank you everyone to your lovely comments. I guess the big thing I want to ask now is, you and I freely admit that we are now postmenopausal women,
Yes.
who will be on drugs to make us even more postmenopausal for the next 5 years of our lives as a result of this. How do you think that this experience and what's forthcoming is kind of going to change your outlook on life and how you engineer your future?
I don't think it's going to change my outlook on life. This is my, I haven't experienced breast cancer before, but it ain't my first rodeo in terms of life challenge. And the approach that I'm bringing to addressing this challenge is something that has developed and served me well over the years. That doesn't mean I think it's going to be easy or a bed of roses. It's just going to be, I'm going to have to learn a new way of being or a new skill set. I might have to park some things, and I might need to grieve for those things that I can or can't do, or the medication that I have to take, or the sleep that I miss, all of those things. I know that in that postmenopausal space, the way that I experienced postmenopause before breast cancer and after is going to be different. So I don't think my approach to life will be different, but I do think that my life will be different. And I'm just going to have to navigate that in whatever way that looks like and accept the change, because I can't fight it. It's going to happen anyway.
Yeah.
Just got to lean in.
Yeah, I was I was very angry, actually. I was very angry that, because I quite liked myself in February of last year. Really good things were happening in my life. And I kind of felt cheated. That it's like, hang on a sec, I'm really loving this person, and now I'm going to change. And I'm not quite sure that I'm going to like the person that I'm going to become. But I look back now, and everybody knows this, there's been blessings along the way, blessings that are lessons. And I do think I am a wiser woman for it. There are some things that I'm going to have to battle symptom-wise for the next few years. But it just means I utilize all the skills that I've developed in my life around grit and around resilience and around hard work, and apply those to this situation, because life gave me those lessons so that I had them to use, I think, in this situation. So I feel that I'm a wiser woman, and I feel that I'm now able to put in place all of these blessings that I've had in my life to become an even wiser and more knowledgeable soul than I was before.
I've always said that I think that challenge is another word for opportunity, and it sounds trite, and it doesn't necessarily mean that those things are always positive, but I think sometimes you can be stuck, or you can find a way to get to the other side. Like you say, with those blessings under your belt, that's information that you might not have otherwise acquired. And there's other shapes of lemons, right? So
like lemon.
This is one version that's going to take you to your next level of being, I guess. And I'm the same. You're further along. I don't know yet how angry I'm going to be when I'm, at the end of 12 months and I'm looking back going, that was a bit rubbish. I mean, I have my dream job. I'm in the happiest place. And I sat there and I got, who said lightning doesn't strike twice?
Yeah.
But here we are. We're still smiling.
We are. Kate, thank you so much for sharing your story. The people that have stayed on right to the end really appreciate it. Any last words?
Not from me, other than thank you. I was so chuffed to be asked.
Oh, yeah. So thank you so much for joining us. Guys, we look forward to seeing you again. Don't forget to come and visit us at MonashIVF West. We would love to see you. Have a beautiful Wednesday night. See ya.